Core principle number 2, focus on long-term strategic planning. We don't talk a lot about this in the network marketing industry, but you need to run your business like a business. You're going to have to invest time, you're going to have to invest money, and you're going to have to invest resources. Most small businesses don't see a profit in the first year or two, sometimes longer than that. And they invest tons of money. Same thing with the franchise. You're going to invest a lot of money in a franchise, and then you're going to get your money back out slowly. So with network marketing, I think people expect quick results because that's what they're told they're going to get. So I'm here to tell you, your results may not be super fast. They may follow the line of a normal business. You're going to have to build something up. You're going to have to get clients, get customers, get other distributors, and it's going to take time. So you need to be prepared for that. And if you go in with the right thinking about it, then it's not going to be frustrating when it doesn't happen super fast. You also want to build a system for high impact activities. So we'll talk a little bit about what high impact activities are a little later, and when I say high impact, I don't mean what do they usually refer to as your money making activities or income generating activities. Okay, I'm talking about high leveraged impact activities. So we'll talk about that. And then again, be patient. You have to be patient. Things take time, especially things online. If you're doing paid marketing, it takes time to figure out what works and what doesn't. If you're constructing a funnel, it takes time to figure out what works and what doesn't. And if you're building traffic, it takes time to even rank in the Google algorithm. So be patient. All right, looking for ways to increase profitability. In the old days of network marketing, there was a lot of bad feelings about the industry in general. And I think it was because there were a lot of top earners on the stage that were making as much money or more from selling tools and resources as they were from the network marketing business. So things have changed a little bit. From a business perspective, it makes sense. Why would they not sell tools if they can make more money and the tools help their group or their team achieve more? But now that the world has changed, two things happen. Number one, you can get a lot of tools for free. You can get a lot of learning for free. You're here on YouTube right now watching this and it didn't cost you a dime. Okay. And you can put content out like that. But the other thing is you don't have to wait until you're a top earner before you can offer things that can help people. Affiliate accounts, you could offer, we use MLSP, you could use ClickFunnels, which we're getting ready to get set up in as an affiliate for those. There's tools that you can offer to people that come across you that maybe they don't want to join your team, but they've been looking at that tool and they end up buying it from you, and then you get a little bit of commission off of it. That's one way to make yourself more profitable quickly. So just think about that. It's no longer just the sage from the stage that's going to make money. This is John Maxwell. The reason I have his picture up here is I believe he's getting ready to come out with a new book that's focused solely on network marketing. So this industry is changing. You know, when people like John Maxwell are starting to get involved and starting to say, hey, this is a business model that you might want to look at, you know, the business community is going to stop and say, maybe I've been looking at this the wrong way. Franchising went through it. They were hated in the beginning, and now they're considered a legitimate business model. And I believe network marketing is on the front end of that. So that's why I had his picture up here. You're going to learn more, implement, and then you'll earn more. So you're here learning. That's great. As soon as you implement some of the things that I'm going to teach you, then you'll be able to earn more. And you're going to always be changing little things, testing little things, making things better. I want to talk to you about compound activity. You've heard of compound interest. So traditional prospecting is a one-to-one thing. You can only prospect so many people in so much time. So if it takes you 15 minutes to go through a presentation with somebody, you got to call them, you got to set up an appointment, you have to go through the presentation, you have to close them and or follow up with them. Okay, it doesn't build on top of itself. And that's where the power of the internet comes in, and you can compound your activity. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but I want you to get the idea of compounding. So the biggest thing that you've probably heard is compounding interest. If you invest $1,000 over 10 years with a 20% interest rate, you're going to have X amount. So you can't see this, but it said 1,000 here, and 1,000, if you input no more over 10 years with a 20% interest rate, it becomes something like $6,500, $6,100, something like that. However, who's paying out 20%? This might have been a good model before I was born, but I don't know anybody that's paying 20% on your money right now. So I'm going to go here to this calculator. Let's see if it'll open it up for me. And we are going to take a quick look at being a little bit more realistic. Let's say you start with $1,000. I'm going to put in 1,000 here. You don't add any every year. You've got 10 years. Now, let's see if that was right. 20% compound interest, $6,100. That matches about what that chart was that we looked at. Oops. All right. So let's, yeah. Okay. So coming back to this. Well, let's say you get 5%. 5%, I don't even think you'll get 5%, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Over 10 years, you're going to have made $600 in profit off your interest by not touching your $1,000. Okay. I don't know about you, but with the way the internet's set up and YouTube, you should be able to take $1,000 and make way more than $600 over 10 years. Think about it. If you buy some items on Facebook Marketplace and sell them for a profit, and you do that over and over for 10 years, you should at least double your money. Heck, if you look on my website, we do land sometimes. We double our money in one deal, and we're using a lot more than $1,000. So the reason I'm showing you this is, number one, to make you understand that compound interest, compound anything, is powerful, but only if it's at a certain rate. And today's interest rates, investing your money into something and just letting it sit there is not going to get most people what they want out of life and out of that investment. So let's go back to this. All right. You're not going to get 20% interest rate. So you need to start looking at what can you do with your money that makes more sense. And to me, network marketing is that, if it's coupled with compound activity, and we'll talk about what that is. All right. The next thing you want to do is make sure you maximize lead generation. Okay, this is consistency. And I'm not talking about consistency with prospecting. I'm talking about consistency over your platforms. So this is from our email. It's from our website. This is my wife and I. I think that's on Twitter or Instagram or something. This is our whatever that, LinkedIn. That's LinkedIn. So when you look at blog, website, social media, LinkedIn, I'm not going to click on all those. Like I said, I'm in a hurry. My family's going to be home with my lunch, but you want consistency across your platforms. So that's one way that you maximize lead generation. Just keep that in mind. If you have a YouTube or podcast, actually, I think the same picture is on my YouTube channel. So just keep that in mind as you're building out your platforms. Core principle number 3, be wary of rented space. Okay, if we go back to these, this is what we own. You'll see that pop up, wealthanize.com. That's our website. That's what we own. All this other stuff is rented space. Facebook can change their algorithm. Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, YouTube. They can all change their rules and regulations, and they can shut you down for violating their terms of service or a perception that you violated their terms of service. Now, I'm not saying that you don't use those. You still want to use them because they're powerful, and that's where the people are at. But you want to be building something that you own that can't be taken away from you. So there's going to be more of these social media things over the years. So if one of these gets shut down and you can't get it back up, you still have your blog or website. So just keep that in mind. That's a very important principle there. Be wary of rented space. All right, core principle number 4, master conversion optimization. The internet allows you, most network marketing companies are worldwide, or they're working towards that. So years ago, you could only enroll people that you knew, or people you knew. You weren't going to be able to go enroll somebody in Indonesia if you didn't know anybody that was from Indonesia or knew somebody in Indonesia. But now the worlds have changed, and if you build a website, you can start enrolling and sponsoring people from all over the world. It's very powerful. True duplication. This is an important principle for you to understand. So when you get network marketing, The sales pitch goes something like this. You get 2, and then they get 2, and then they get 2, and then it's 4, then it's 8, and then everybody's rich. Guess what? It doesn't work that way because you're dealing with people. And the Pareto principle is 80% of the work is going to be done by 20% of the people, and vice versa. 20% of the people will do 80% of the work. It works in almost all industries. It works in things you wouldn't think it works in, and it definitely works in network marketing. So how do you get more duplication? You need to create a system. So McDonald's has a system. If you go to, I've been to McDonald's in China, I've been to McDonald's in Vietnam, I've been to McDonald's in Europe, in South America, Central America, they're all the same. And you get the same consistent product. Actually, I would argue in some countries the product's better, and I think it's because they don't add so many additives like they do here, but that's besides the point. You still get a good consistent product. And how do they do that? It's not because they have the best trained high school kids, and it's not because they have the best trained managers. It's because they've implemented a system that you almost have to work to mess up. If you've ever seen them make a frappe, they put a cup under a button, they push a button, they add some whipped cream out of a can, they add some syrup, it's done. You kind of have, in fact, the button even fills up to a certain point. So they don't even get to hold the button until they think it's full. I mean, it's very consistent. So if you want more duplication, now you're never going to get away from this. It's still going to be 80-20, any way you cut it, any way you slice it. But you can increase that number a little bit, because there's a window. You might have 10% of your people are producing 90% of the results. The closer you can get it to a higher percentage, the better. So you got to create a system. And a system is not talk to more people, and it's not show our flip chart, because there's still too much riding on that individual person's belief, on their presentation skills, on all of that. So that is not really a system. But with the power of the internet, you can start building a system, or you can tap into someone else's system. Right now, we are building a system, and we are tweaking the system, and we're trying to get it to the point where people on our team can just send people to a link, watch a presentation that actually converts, because how many of you know your presentation for your company probably does not convert? It's probably a video of somebody just going through the same flip chart that they tell you to go through. So that's what we're working on right now, but you could build your own system. Core principle 5, understand the true numbers. We talked about this 2 times 2 times 2, blah, blah, blah. That's not the way it works. This is the way it works. We're going to talk about that in the next slide. 50, 100, 250, 500. This is what people don't like to talk about because they're afraid they'll scare their prospect off. But really, what you'll do is you'll set up realistic expectations. If you set the bar high for people, they will step up and live up to that expectation. But if you bring people in under false pretenses, they're going to quit. That's why so many people quit in our industry sometimes, is because they're brought in under false pretenses. And again, the 80-20 rule. So this is how duplication actually works and how network marketing actually works. You join a team. That's you. Woohoo! You joined a team. You share a leg with, now this is a binary. We're just going to look at a binary right now. You share a leg with your upline. So this yellow line goes up above here, and there's more people connected to that leg. This is your inside leg. You build this one all by yourself. Okay, you got to put on your big boy or big girl panties and build that one all by yourself. So you start enrolling people. La-di-da, you're working along. You got people enrolled, right? All the red are you. And then something happens. You get some overflow. Your upline puts somebody in your shared leg. That's fantastic. They do it again. Different color. That means someone different from the upline put somebody in. Different color. See, this leg is the power leg because it's going to grow faster than your leg usually. All right. So your leg starts growing, and that's the way your power leg is going to grow the fastest. Now, look what happened. Somebody started putting people in. This is an interesting thing. Somebody here started putting more people in. I guess I should be showing that. So this is your power leg, your overflow leg. This is your inside leg. You're still stuck. You've only put in 5 people now. Good golly, how does it? That person was supposed to put in 2. That person was supposed to put in 2 and 2 and 2, and I should have 300 people on here by now. Okay, be realistic. That's not what's going to happen. You're going to keep putting people in this leg. Okay, now this isn't meant to scare you, but I'm going to be honest with you. This is how it almost always works out. Almost every tree I've ever looked at looks something like this. So you'll see here, somebody started enrolling people, and somebody here started enrolling people. Okay, you've still enrolled a lot of people. Your goal is to enroll 50, 100, 250, 500 people over time, and some of them will start building businesses. Here's another one here. All right, so what do you got here? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is your leadership team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right now, as of right now, there'll be more leaders show up later. You're looking for leaders, but here's what you need to do. In network marketing, we spend so much time trying to motivate these people. It's the 80-20 rule, okay? You're not going to motivate these people. Now, this person started putting in people later, so he did get motivated by seeing what was happening on his leg, but that's because you were being a leader and you were building and you're going to do it with or without him. So he eventually woke up and said, this thing seems to be working. But that's the key. You need to spend time, build culture. Whatever you do around team building and culture, you need to focus on your leaders. If you're doing weekly meetings, whatever, you need to focus on people who are producing, because that's where your growth is going to come from. And it's always, you're never going to get 100% duplication. So don't try and don't get frustrated by it. You know, if you need to, listen to that Jim Rohn, How to Build Your Network Marketing Business. He has some great quotes in there. You know, the quote where he talks about, that person quit. I thought for sure he would last a little while. You can't sign up for that course of why. Just go on and find the next person. Core principle number 6, maximize reach and duplication. How do you increase reach? This is with the more platforms you build, the more your reach is increased, and you can also pay to increase your reach through paid marketing. All right. How to get more duplication? System and belief. You need to build a system, and it needs to be so simple that people can believe that they can do it. That's the key. Even when companies roll out a new flip chart, a new marketing tool, a new whatever, they have to believe that this is going to work for them, and they have to be comfortable sending people to it. So that's what your system needs to do. It needs to be very systematic, where it takes out the personality of whoever's involved, that anyone can plug into it, and it needs to build up the person's belief that they can do that system. All right, again, the McDonald's example. So, course 7, if you really want to succeed in network marketing, you need to become an expert authority. You do this by leveraging the internet. You need to build an audience and a platform. Again, I recommend you own the platform. That needs to be the first platform you build. And if you don't think you need a website, at least build a funnel that's rented. But since you're paying for it, you're probably, like, if you get ClickFunnels, you're going to be able to at least keep it for a while and work on it and change it. But I would suggest building some kind of website. And all your platforms need to be complementary and parallel, like I talked about. You need to produce results. That's how you become an authority. You produce results. And it doesn't have to be huge results. If you've, I just did an email where I showed where my leads have come from, and I sent this out to my group, and it was surprising that 54% of my leads have come from first-time visitors to my site, and like, I want to say another high percentage, like 30% or 35%, have come from people who have visited my site 12 times or more, and then everybody else was in between. And I think it was recent leads, so it was like 300 leads or something. Those are some results. Now, for the person that's produced 5,000 leads, those aren't results. But for the average person who hasn't produced any leads, and they see that, hey, this guy knows how to produce leads. I'm looking at the screen capture. He's produced 300 leads in the recent past, so maybe he can help me produce some leads. So that's what you want to do, is produce some results, whatever it is. If you enroll a person, let's say you got your first sign up, and you do some kind of blog post or some kind of video on YouTube, how I enrolled my first person, that's going to have value to somebody who's never enrolled anybody. And then scale. Once you get your your funnel and your website and everything to where you want it. You can scale with Facebook ads or Google ads, social media ads. You also can scale. This is the compound activity. You start building out these platforms, and over time, you're going to be driving traffic to your funnel and to your website. Some of these have more value than others. For example, Facebook is getting to the point where you got to pay to play. SEO still has power, although there's a lot of competition. YouTube is probably, I would say YouTube, and if you're brand new, I would say use YouTube to drive traffic to a funnel because there's less competition, or do a podcast. If you're an expert in some area or you want to establish yourself as an expert, there's even less competition in podcasting than there is in YouTube. So think about that as an option. Leaders follow leaders, become an influencer. You have to have posture. And this is the secret. You just can't care too much. I know that if you build this business up big, whatever company you're in, it's going to basically make all your dreams come true. The problem is, if you care too much, you're not going to have posture when you talk to somebody. If you care if they enroll, you're not going to have posture. So you got to just let it go. You're sharing it with people, and you're just sorting through the yeses and nos, and don't get to the point. And that's a good thing about building a system. When you go to my website, you can't feel whether I care or not because it's just a static website or it's just a video. If I don't have posture in the video, I can reshoot the video. But once I get it up, then I'm going to have posture with everybody that lands on that video. Lead by example. You need to be enrolling people. You need to be building the business. You need to be willing to leave people behind if they're not going to do anything. And that can be hard for your friends and family because you really want to take them with you. But if you build the business up big enough, they will probably come along as long as you haven't burnt that bridge. So hone your skills and keep going. This is big. Don't go into management mode. I did this the first time I was in network marketing. I built up a big team. Excuse me. Anybody else like Diet Mountain Dew? So I built up a big team, and then I thought, oh, I'm just going to manage them. I'm just going to do events, and everyone's going to build. And I stopped recruiting people. And eventually, especially when the economy crashed, my team fell apart because I wasn't enrolling people. I wasn't leading by example. And I thought I was the sage on the stage. And I didn't even like being on stage. That was the funny thing. But I thought it was the easiest way. I thought if I can motivate 50 or 100 people to go enroll one person, it's easier than me doing myself going out and enrolling 50 or 100 people because that was the leverage that I thought about. Principle 8, choose the right company. Okay, this is very important. I had a buddy of mine that was very successful in a company, and he spent years, he was the #1 income earner, and it was a frustration for him because the company had a different view of where that company should go. They didn't really want to be big, and he eventually had to leave that company, and I'm sure it was painful for him. And he went to another company, and he enrolled hundreds of people in 30 days and built up a team of a couple thousand. And I don't know if he's the #1 income earner there yet, but the point is he wasted all that time with that company. If he had picked a different company at the beginning, you want a company that's going to be around for the long. So many people want to sign up with the easiest company and get rich quick. I don't want to get rich quick. I want a large income that comes in consistently for the next 30 years. That's what I want. So longevity matters, leadership matters. Make sure your upline leadership and the leadership management team of the company you choose has character, has integrity, that they're going to do the things that are best for the company, but more importantly, what's best for the distributors and the customers. Truth 3, products matter, but not as much as you think. Sometimes you hear this argument that people say, well, I don't know if I don't believe in the products, I can't promote it. The fact is, you know how many, I wish I had the statistic here. If I redo this video, I might pull it up. But how many people go to their job every day and they hate it? They hate their job. They hate what their job stands for. If they have products in their job, they hate their products. You know, my brother used to work at KFC and he wouldn't even eat the KFC. So don't let people give you that line about they can't promote something that they don't believe in. Unless you think it's doing harm to somebody, like you're promoting a drug or you're promoting something like tobacco or something that you feel is harming somebody, then this really doesn't matter from a business perspective. Okay. The air conditioning guy is going to pick sometimes the best product, but if people aren't buying it because it's the most expensive, then he's going to pick a lesser product and he's going to give his customers what they want. The product does not matter as much. McDonald's, again, is a good example. They do not have the best hamburgers in the world, but they sell more hamburgers than anybody else. It's because their system is incredible. All right. So don't get caught up on this. You want to choose what I would say about products is you want something that's consumable and that somebody can use up their supply every month, and then they order a new supply because that creates residual income. Please don't get into something where you have to push a bunch of products on somebody and fill up their garage. That's the old model. It's unnecessary. You don't need it, and it brings a lot of bad juju to our industry. Corporate causes matter, but not as much as you think. A corporate cause is something to get behind, and it's great that corporate companies do it, but every company has a corporate cause, something that they're passionate about. What I would say is your cause matters more. Find something you're passionate about. My wife and I have some personal things that make certain things specific to us because of things that have happened to us or experiences we've had. So we put a lot of our energy and time, and some of our goals are along the line. I'll give you an example. For me, I want to build houses in Central America or in other parts of the world. You know, when I was younger, I did a lot of missionary work, and the one trip I enjoyed the most was where we went in. There was a woman and some kids, and they didn't have a house, and in a week we built her a house. That was a great feeling, and so I want to build as many houses as I can over my lifetime. So that's one of the goals that I have. Um, because that, to me, that changes someone's life. There's not a lot that you can do when you go in there. You know, you can't necessarily take them out of that environment, but you can make that environment a lot better. So find a cause that matters for you and that will motivate you. Compensation plans matter a lot. Unilevel, matrix, breakaway, binary. I already went over the binary. Here's the unilevel. You get in, you sponsor as many people wide as you want, and then let's say you sponsor this person, they're going to sponsor as many as they want, and the same thing, and so on and so forth. Now, with the unilevel, you usually only get paid down a certain amount. That's why I like a binary, because if you only get paid 7 levels deep, and in level 8 a rock star shows up, maybe somebody that has an audience, or maybe it's 10 years from now and network marketing is looked at like franchising, and some of these influencers get involved and they enroll 5,000 people themselves over a 6-month period, you're going to wish that you got paid all the way down. The other thing about a unilevel is a lot of these people aren't connected, so it's hard to build teams. In a binary, you have 2 teams, all right, and they're all connected to each other, so everyone wants everyone to do as well as they can. In this situation, this person is not connected to this team. This person is not connected to this team. Only this person is. So that's one reason that I'm not a big fan of the unilevel. The force matrix, this is a 3x2. You have 3 levels, and you're 2 levels deep. So each level has 3 people. You get paid 2 levels deep. The thing about a force matrix is everyone is forced to fill up the spots. So over time, it actually fills up, and you don't have a weird looking tree like I showed before. However, the problem with the force matrix is it kind of reminds me of socialism instead of capitalism. Everyone wants to get paid. The lazy people love this kind of program because they don't have to enroll somebody. If you sign up in the right spot and people start putting people in, it fills up your matrix and you don't really have to do anything. But the workers, the capitalists, the worker bees, they if they don't hate it when they get in, they learn to hate it because they're the only ones filling up the spots. But if you're going to fill up all the spots and only get paid a couple levels deep, I've just never understood it. And there's not a whole lot of companies that use it. You have limited width, you have a defined depth. I want to be able to go as wide and as deep. I want to be able to go to infinite depth and infinite width. So in a binary, I don't know if I have binary on here, but if I went back to that binary, let's see, I want to make sure you understand something. You can put in as many people as you want. So you're going wide. It's almost like your leg is straight like this, and you're in the middle, and you build out both teams, but your personal recruits go along this line. And then as they start building their teams, you can get check match and all that kind of stuff on there. So that's something that you still have unlimited width, but you also have infinite depth, and everybody is connected, and it's just more of a team building thing. What is the next one? Breakaway. I don't have a breakaway on here, but basically a breakaway is kind of like this unilevel, except as people get to a certain point, they break away and you lose some of the commission and you lose some of the value that they brought to you. I don't like a breakaway because in a breakaway, it always seems to me like you enroll somebody and this is how you feel. I want you to do good. And then in your mind, you're thinking, but not that good. Because if they get to a certain point and they break away from you, you lose a lot of commission. You don't want them to break away. That's why, like, again, the binary compensation plan pays for infinite depth and there's no breakaway. Core principle number 9, find the right mentor. You need to find somebody that resonates with you. Go to your upline first. If there's someone in your business that's building the business successfully and they're building it the way that you want to build it, you need to go talk to them first. Assess the experience that they have, the results that they've generated, and go talk to them. Now, you also want to assess the methodology. Do they teach you how to build it the way you want to build it? Because unfortunately, right now in this industry, there's a lot of people saying you can only build it a certain way. What I've learned from being in educational leadership is that everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and everybody's going to be able to do things a different way. So you need to promote the strengths of other people. All right, sounds like my Chick-fil-A is here. So I'm going to go. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications for the best tips and tricks to growing your business, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.